Dynasty Radio, 1382.
A nation. Got me twisted, working too hard, the roles reversed, feeling kinda odd, trying to make me curse my God for the single mother, no regard. And what's worse is my girlfriend thinks on money we must depend. Glass ceiling closing in when the money is gone, so all your friends gone in the femininity, but no MTV, it's MGT. My mind is the entity, can't confine or define me. From infinity we grow, and I don't think they know everything we all give birth to the stars with more precious than gold. And a nation can't rise no higher than this woman. I respect you, brother, respect me. You gotta go and striving to be all I can be. We can survive, but we can't be enemies. And a nation can't rise no higher than this woman. I respect you, brother, respect me. You gotta go and striving to be all I can be. We can survive, but we can't be enemies. Can't progress without the man. Simply don't you know that's a master plan. The habit's broken, disconnected, feeling rejected, and so disrespected. But no. We come to the end of the line, coming round. We have to shine and grow. One spirit and one mind, and together we will shine. And a nation can't rise no higher than this woman. I respect you, brother, respect me. You gotta go and striving to be all I can be. We can survive, but we can't be enemies. And a nation can't rise no higher than this woman. I respect you, brother, respect me. You gotta go and striving to be all I can be. We can survive, but we can't be enemies. And don't forget where you came from. You are the same person. Cleopatra, Queen Sheba, put the world in a rapture when we ride. The biggest fact in your past is so spectacular when you ride. But it ain't nothing compared to the hereafter when we rising up against the odds. And if we can make it together, we'll be on fire. Identity is like nuclear bomb. Can't you see our time has come? Rising up against the odds. And if we can make it together, we'll be on fire. Identity is like nuclear bomb. Can't you see our time has come? We gon' talk it out, talk it out. Say we need to talk it out. We gon' talk it out.
Good evening, everyone. We would like to welcome you to our show, The Ma'at Hour, with your hostess and your host, Titia, Cushite Power, and Ski Davis.
And today we're going to deal deep into Ma'at. We're going to explain who Ma'at is and her power in traditional Western religion and all religion. We're also going to bring her to the forefront because a lot of people like to put different great women of Egypt before her, you know, maybe Isis or Set. But today we're gonna always bring it back to Ma'at because that's the beginning. That's where it all came from. So we're going to deal with a couple. Well, I know everyone knows this. The 10 Commandments. You know?
Yes.
You know, everybody knows 10 Commandments. So we'll just go through to show how the 10 Commandments came straight off the walls of Egypt, which is in Egypt. All the laws of Egypt is from Ma'at. You know, so we got there's one of them. No gods before me. No graven images. And you know, I just like to stop on the graven images because, you know, our people, we always did graven images. You know, all them statues, all them carvings. So that'll let you know the flip, how they took from my eye.
And to also add to that, our great ancestors would never just make statues of anyone or anything and just worship them. No. Our ancestors made statues of ancient queens and ancient kings who ruled the land for hundreds of years and brought great prosperity and law to our land by covenanting the laws of Ma'at.
So yes, the laws of Ma'at, the 42 declarations of Ma'at, some would say the 42 innocent confessions, some would say the 42 negative confessions, some will go to the whole 147 confessions of Ma'at, which is all very deep and which all ties into Western and all religion. You know, there's no law before this. And one of the Ma'atic laws, I have not committed sin. You know, that's like, wow, everybody, you know, dang, what is sin? I have not committed robbery with violence. In the traditional Western law of the Ten Commandments, they say, I have not, you know, thou shalt not steal. In our tradition, we go a little bit farther. I mean, thou shalt not steal with violence. We also have from the 42 confessions, we have not stolen food, I have not swindled offerings. You know, swindling offerings, that ties in very, very deep with today's church system. You know, the prosperity churches, they reap a lot of offerings. They reap close to the $1 billion level, the prosperity churches. So I have not swindled offerings. Comes from my eye. That's one of the 42 confessions. But within Western civilization, Western religion, we don't have not anything to say. We have not swindled offerings. So that's something to deal into. Our people must get back to my eye. We must go back to our ties and revisit these 42, these 147 declarations of innocence of our people.
And yes, to speak on the swindling, thou shalt not swindle in the offering, will let you know exactly why they would separate church from state, because they cannot handle a lot of the confessions that we are to live under. And then notice, if we did live by the confessions and apply them to our life, how different things would be if we all can get under this ancient law that was held so dear to our people. Now we want to go into who Ma'at is, and I will let you know. Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess, stood for truth and justice. In fact, the name Ma'at means truth in Egyptian. Her followers believed that after death, their heart would be weighed against her white feather of judgment. If the heart weighed the same as the feather, they would be allowed to cross into the kingdom of Osiris, which Osiris, by the way, means paradise.
So that's deep in itself, you know. By learning on my eye, you will see how they got the scales in the justice system. That's a representation of my eye. With the even though their scales is off balance, but they all tie that in to that great woman figure of Kemet, of Egypt. So she ties in very, very immensely in everything. And we must revisit her. We must invoke her. We must do libations to her.
Yes.
And we must bring this back to the forefront for our people. So we must break down Ma'at a little more understanding, a little more, bring it a little more hipper to people, I guess.
And to continue, and if your heart weighed more than a feather, basically if you failed, the test would, you would be devoured, by the crocodile-headed god Amut. Now, that's just basically where they will get hell from if you didn't, do well in your life here on earth, according to the Ten Commandments, according to the Bible, that, you would be heavily weighed. You would be judgment passed against you, and if you didn't do well, you would, go to hell, or your soul will burn in eternal fire.
This is where they get that whole premise from us, from the spirituality, the customs of Ma'at, which Ma'at just wasn't. I just don't want to give Ma'at to Egypt. Ma'at was a law of the whole land, the whole motherland, Kabbalah, Africa, however you want to describe the landmass. The Ma'atic influence, the Ma'atic rule was across the whole land. So Ma'at is before, she is in the beginning of Egypt. And Queen Titia.
Elaborate on that for you. And I just want those who are with us to take a little time and just close your eyes and think. There was a time when we lived with high standards. Our great ancestors lived by 42 laws of the goddess Ma'at. Just think about that, knowing that our ancestors lived by these divine laws. The laws of Ma'at were also known as the Declaration of Innocence.
Most people say negative confessions, but they'll be innocent confessions because Ma'at is of pure innocence. So.
And proof of Ma'at goes back to a lot of the coffin texts of the great pharaohs. And the book that is on these coffin texts of the great pharaohs are Pert Amharu, which they translated that to the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Now, I know a lot of us know that book, which is one of the oldest African books of Holy Scripture. With these laws, our ancestors maintained society without police for thousands of years. So that lets you know the reason why we reigned for so long and reigned so superior is that we live by these divine laws, and we held fast to them, that the great queens and pharaohs went down with it on their coffins.
Yeah, they went down with it on their coffins. It was on the walls. And it just basically governed the land. So we want to always, what we want to do is just give that energy back to Ma'at. Now we're giving that energy to Jesus. We'll give that energy to Buddha, to Allah, Jehovah. We have given that energy to Mother Mary, to plenty other deities other than Ma'at, which is the basis of all spirituality, because if you were going to some of the confessions, I have not closed my ears to truth. That is one of the 42 of Ma'at. I have not closed my ears to truth.
I have not closed my ears to truth.
And it's a lot of, let alone the black race, the whole world has closed their ears to truth. But our race especially should be held accountable for closing our ears to the truth, because we are created as keep seekers of the law and the land. But if we close our ears to truth, we can't do that. We can't, we won't even know where we are.
And once we know the truth, once we know these truths about our history that has been taken away from us, we have a right to share it and stand for it. Our history is the reason why the world is surviving today. This is why they stay in Africa squeezing the blood out of her now. Everything is there. Everything originated there. We are the original. So I must get back to the great goddess Ma'at. And we want to speak a little bit about her origin and, her genealogy. She is the goddess of truth and justice. and reality, and was the daughter of Ra. Ma'at, as we know, the great Egyptian goddess. You know, her consort, which in that time period, a consort is your male king, or we should say your mate. Her consort was Thoth, and she bore him 8 children. This is just to let you know that this was not a fake person, a mythology. You know how they like to say Egyptology, which actually means something of myth. And our history is not mythical. Trust me and believe that. This goddess had 8 children. And one of her children all of her children were chiefly known as gods and goddesses of Hermopolis. Now, Hermopolis can be definitely traced back into Egypt, back into Africa, basically, you know, I want to say Sudan in that area. And, you know, her most famous child was Amun. So we're not dealing with a myth here. This is real
African law.
Real African law. And our ancestors would have never built statues to fake people. They didn't do that. They built that so it can last and tell our story. They did that because they believed that we were many gods, and that we were the keepers of this planet.
And by meaning we are, in the black community, we like to say gods and goddesses. Well, right off, one of the 42 confessions is, I have not stolen from a god. Another one is, I have not cursed a god.
Mm-hmm.
I have not stolen that which belongs to a god.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning, we don't want, in Western religion, or ideology, whatever you want to call it, God is God is the creator. In our true mentality, God does not mean creator. Creator means creator. That's what creator means, the great creator. God does not mean creator. God is now, I would say, since the inception of King James and them using the word, placing God as the be-all, end-all to all creation, or the chief of creation, which is not true. We are gods. Like it says in the Bible, ye are gods, without like men. That would probably go back to some of the curses the oracles have laid upon the world, but that's a different story. So let's go back to the queen.
Yes, that is a very different story. And to get back to the great goddess, I would like to also let everyone know that she was also represented as the primal laws of the universe that supported creation.
Now say that again.
She is represented as the primal law, and I want to say laws with an S, of the universe that supported creation and prevented it from falling into chaos. And this is a crucial role that she stood for. She stood for balance and harmony. Her power was beyond the Pharaoh. Can I say it again? Her power was beyond the Pharaoh. That her power was so high that the pharaohs who declared themselves beloved of Ma'at and upholders of her laws, they declared themselves as beloved of Ma'at. So this lets you know that the great men, our great kings, our pharaohs, our great ancestors, they upheld the laws of the great mother, of the woman who bestowed law, peace, harmony, and balance to our great homeland, our Kibalan.
Oh, yes, indeed, at Caroline, Africa. And we'll just like to, let me see if there's any callers. And we'd like to take the first call.
Yes. So I just had a question as far as how can we use the laws of Ma'at in these times? I know of the Ten Commandments and how they can apply, but can we also apply the laws of Ma'at? Are they the same laws?
You can apply the laws of Ma'at in this time because, you know, there's nothing new in this time that wasn't different in that time. There's different toys. There's different little, you know, versus entertainment or whatever. But yes, you can use these laws. You know, I have not slain women. We use them every day. We don't go around killing. You know, we try our best to not commit sin.
Right.
We don't go around robbing. We don't go around committing acts of violence. We don't own companies that pollute the water, so we do that one off top. You know, we ain't dumping into the oceans and lakes and rivers. You know, we try our best not to be. Here go another one. I have not made anyone cry.
Oh, wow.
So we do that. You know, I have not committed adultery. Everyone does. You know, we try our best not to do that. I have not terrified. Excuse me.
Wow. Yes. I was saying that's like from the Ten Commandments as well.
Yes, many
the
of the
adultery.
Laws yes, you got the adultery law, and straight from the Ten Commandments. I have not slain men and women, that meaning I shall not kill.
Kill, right.
Wow. It's many. I have not falsely accused anyone. I have not bear false witness against my neighbor. You know, I have not disobeyed the law. I will try to correlate that to keep the Sabbath holy.
Okay.
Or I have not cursed a God, which meaning I have not spoke of God's name in vain.
Oh, okay.
But meaning in that time when they wrote this, God is me and you.
Yeah.
I have not spoken in another person's name in vain. In this day and age, you know, that's why they only got 10. They can't hold fast to all of them. It's just
right.
Destroying the whole Western civilization concept.
Wow, that's deep.
Yes, it is. It's very deep.
Yeah, and I can't believe. Yeah, I can't believe how they just took the laws and placed them in the Bible. Because I always thought that's where, like, God wrote the laws and gave them to them, and yeah, so.
Well, yeah, you know, the Bible was written by many black oracles, many black queens in that time, and you know, we can deal into the first male god. Some would say it would be Allah. Many would say it would be Jehovah. Or, you know, that would be the first Western civilization god, I would say, not the first male god, because, you know, they're black kings and pharaohs with it. But the Bible is an account of the fall of Ma'at, I would say the Great Mother, the teachings of Africa. The Bible is a historical account
of what happened to us,
if you look at it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank
so they
you
just
for
in our story.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Queen.
Thank you so much. Peace.
You're welcome. Peace.
So that was a real good call. You know, we all have to understand that we can apply these laws every day. We apply them without even knowing them. Subconsciously, we do these things. You know, those of us who are connected to that spiritual cosmic family, those of us who try to live our life right, even those who don't even know of Jesus, any of this stuff. Some people just do these things without just knowing. We all do. So another one would be other 42 confessions of mine. I have not caused disruption of peace. Now, that's a big one.
That is a big one.
Because it was a rap group out, Ludacris. His group was called
Disturbing the peace.
DTP. Disturbing the peace. So that will let you know that a lot of these things are all known by people who control a lot of money and pull and influence in society. You know, I have not caused destruction of peace. You know, that's something we live by every day. We try to keep it cool. We try to live by, you know, keep it kosher. You know, we try to make it easy like Sunday morning. But once you take those things up out of Western religion, you know, the Ten Commandments, because they all come from the 147 confessions. But, you know, most of us don't even live by the Ten Commandments. So bringing my eye in and just bringing it back to black. We got to bring everything back to black. Everything must come back to black. So.
Back to the indigenous man and woman. No doubt. No doubt. Now, I want to let everyone out there know who's listening to know that we are coming to you from Dynasty Network. And the web address is dynastynetwork.net. Again, dynastynetwork.net. And if you have any questions or comments about the show or any of our shows, any feedback, shoot us up an email, info@dynastynetwork.net. Once again, that's info@dynastynetwork.net.
Yes, indeed. A very beautiful network. So here go another one of the 147. Here go one of the 42. I have not cursed. See, we have mixed up the word cursed and cursing, which are two different words. Because we curse all the time. I cuss a lot. I like cussing. But this curse meaning you don't wish evil onto someone. You know, that's a curse like that what you'll see in the movies and stuff like, oh, I'm going to put a curse on you. Or that's the curse they're talking about. And that's another one.
The famous curse from Color Purple?
The famous curse from Color Purple. You remember how she put the curse on the old boy.
Across the dinner table.
She wasn't supposed to do that, but she was supposed to do that because he was an evil bastard. But that would say me, I have not cursed. We went through I have not closed my ears to truth. Let me go some more. I have not acted hastily or without thought.
Now, how many times have we acted hastily, you know, very hastily, without thought, and later to regret what came out of those thoughts?
And we do that every day. Well, some of us have more discipline not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's action that's done. Some of us do things out of haste. Some of us just act out of impulse.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to many levels. If we act out of thought when we may go make a purchase we shouldn't have made, or we may think a bad thought about someone, or many ways we do this. But if these things were kept in religion, we will have them more readily to know, you know, but they took them out of religion, and they are taken out to achieve this new world order, such and such thing, the new agenda or whatever, because you can't control the people with them being spiritually connected. So you break the spiritual connection, you can basically control the people. So that's why Ma'at is taken out of everything. She's replaced by all other deities. So.
Yes, most definitely. She's, you know, they would discard Ma'at, and they would put Set in place, and then later the Greeks would come by and even put Isis in place. So you know our history and herstory has very deep roots, deeper than one can even imagine. And this is why the 42 laws of Ma'at is so important to us as a being. You know, it helps our families. especially if we can share this information that we learn and go out and do the research and go past the Bible, get the real origins
of the Bible.
Get
the real origins of the Quran. Learn the stories of all the religious texts, because all the religious texts have traces of Ma'at. All the religious texts date back to when the world was under its natural order. You know, we're under a broken order. And black folks, by the way, we've been under New World Order since we got on the slave ship. So that'll be something that's a different thing right there.
Yes, definitely a different thing. We want to intrigue our listeners to come back, you know, want to learn more about their ancient ancestry that is not evil or wasn't full of idolatry.
It's not pagan.
No, it's not.
It's not spookism. It's spirituality. It's how we activated our spiritual connections to the Creator and the royal family and the royal court and just ancestors.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and we know we all have our different roles that we take because of the structure that we've been under. And hey, I would like to say, you know, if that keeps a person on the right track, then by all means, yes, that is fine. But I do encourage us all of African descent in this diaspora to explore our horizons, explore our history. You know, take into account when someone shares what they learn with you to maybe go do the research, and then you could come up with your own conclusion if you would like to. But it always comes back home to great old Africa.
Yeah, you got to come on back home to great Africa. You know, that's the basis of it all. So we're going to go into a couple more of the confessions, the innocent confessions. Here go one. I have not used evil thoughts or words or deeds. That's a deep one. I have not used evil thoughts, words, or deeds. So when you consider using, because we all may have evil thoughts, we all may have done evil deeds, but how do you go about using them? So that would go about, I would say, to the big money corporations, how they use the evil thoughts to control society. How you may have plot a plan on someone and destroy their whole little livelihood. You implement these thoughts. You take them thoughts out your head and you put them into, you speak them and you put them into action and you destroy people's lives. But if we would have the Ten Commandments must be expounded. Anyone out there who is holding fast to any religion, just know all religion stems from Africa, and I won't knock religion to that point, but you must know where your religion comes from. You must know the basis of your religion.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. And to further add to that, of anyone who wants any more information about where you can find out some things of the African religion, African religion by Dr. Yosef Ben Yonakahan.
Great Grandmaster.
Baba. Yes, he is. And by the way, Baba in Swahili, that's father in Swahili. And his book was printed in 1970, so please look that up.
On another grand teacher you may want to, just dig deeper in it, it would be, what's her name, Mami Zogabi. Mami Zogabi. She's a great woman. Because in most Western religion, let alone the woman, she is a curse. She's not really nothing. Y'all, basically every woman who's listening, Western religion has cursed y'all and left y'all out. And it's all man-driven. But if you will listen to these queens and teachers and just visit my aunt, start giving her some prayers, start just giving her some shout-outs, you will get to see that everything had a natural balance. The woman was the first part of the equation, and many times the end of the equation. So we must get back to her. We must get back to her story.
Yes, no doubt. That's the bottom line. For me, I believe that we should all check into that. And the woman that we speak of, Mommy Zogabi, she wrote the book, The Stolen Prophecies of the Mami Wata by the Catholic Church. It goes into her teachings by letting us know that at one point in time, before pre-dynastic period, which when I say pre-dynastic period, that's dynasty, meaning all male rule, is that the woman, the great mother, was always worshipped on a high pedestal. The laws of Ma'at was always carried out. This is the reason why kingdoms were bestowed to great men, and how we had control of a lot of the Asiatic world, and how people respected us, and how they came into Africa and they were taught, and how we went into Greece and taught them. We did so many great things, so many great accomplishments that many civilizations owe their very existence to. So she speaks on how the woman was the highest connection to this Creator. Our spiritual connection was very great. And so that she talks on how we were oracles and priestess, and we were healers. Everything that they said Jesus did
all stems from the Maiatic teaching, the great Kemetic teachings, the great African teachings, the great Nubian teachings, the great teachings of the triple black. This is where all these things stem from. So if you live in your life out here, and you like, I've been praying to Jesus, I've been praying to Buddha, Allah, and it's just so hard for me, maybe it's time to switch up. It's time to come on home. Come on home to the great mama. Jesus ain't going to be mad. Buddha ain't going to be mad. Jehovah, they ain't even going to care. You got to go and bring it on back to my eye. If what you're going through ain't just been, you feel you're just giving so much to religion. You're giving so much of your spirit and your energies to religion. You're giving so much of your dollars to religion. And you still feel you're in the same rut. I want you to, just sometimes bring it on back. Go on and bring it to Ma'at. Bring it to Nubia. Bring it to the Ma'at hour, basically. On the Ra Speaks Radio.
That's right. The Ra Speaks Radio, that is right.
The radio show that promotes you to think.
Yes, it does, with our host and producer, Queen C, known as T. Makia.
But, we're going to go into a couple more, if we got a little time, we're going to go into a couple more of Ma'at's laws.
Yes, yes.
You go one, what's a good one? Well, they all are good, and I say that. I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. That's a big one.
How many of us do that? We all do these things. And I know sometimes they speak in certain parts of the Bible about these things. So it's another way that they also incorporated these confessions into certain scriptures of Bible. So there was really no getting away from the 42 confessions or what they right.
There's no getting away from it, but what they did was replace the names you give, the praise that you would give to the teachings,
Right, right. And, just to take you back a little bit, the earliest surviving record indicating Ma'at is the norm of nature and society in this world and the next. This was recorded during the Old Kingdom. You know, this is one of the earliest, earliest coffins that they found of a pharaoh, who they don't really speak of. Well, this is a substantial surviving example. This was on the pyramid text of Unas. Unas was a pharaoh who ruled in the Old Kingdom between 2375 BC and 2345 BC. So he ruled from 2375 BC to 2345 BC. This was found on his coffin text. And see, the Old Kingdom, that's very old. You know, and we know they distort time and play games and things like that, but that's a very old time. That's actually a little bit of the time. That's way before Moses or anything. Way before Moses, way before Jesus, way before Allah, like we said before. There was not. And these principles that we don't know of are the ones that that governs the land, the ones that we should go by. That helps us in our daily lives, that, helps us maintain self-control over the things we say, over the things we think, and just our day-to-day operations with our loved ones and people outside of our home. So this is something very important to us all, and it's very crucial because, as for my aunt, she didn't really give too much room for...
she didn't get no room.
Yeah, for messing up.
If you know the law, you should keep the law.
That's right.
But see, the law has been stolen from us.
Mm-hmm.
Now we must revisit the law so we can keep the law.
And if we don't know the law, we can't keep the law.
There's no saying if you're 30 years old and you don't know of my eye. There's no saying if you're 50 years old. Now you know. So now you must dwell in it. You must let the knowledge of you knowing it turn into wisdom.
Tap into that ancient spiritual DNA. Tap into that. They told us that we weren't supposed to do that. Yes, we are. Tap into that. Meditating, libations,
and just good thoughts.
And good thoughts.
But, it's a balancing act.
It's a balance.
Because we live in a different time. We live in a wicked ruled world, basically, in small terms. So that's why the weighing of the feather come in, because we all going to have times where we're going to act hastily. We're going to act angrily. We're going to have evil thoughts. And that's just being part of creation. That's just what it is right now. But having Mayat, we will find balance with those things. That's what Mayat is truth, balance, reciprocity.
Order. Justice.
All the things you will see in any judicial system, which is not justice or order, but...
And notice when you see the scales in the judicial system, pay attention. They're tilted. When you look on the wall of ancient Kemet, as we know as Egypt today, they're even.
That's where they get the legal scales from and all that stuff.
Balance.
And yes, we are a star, watching people, a star. And like I said, it's not ancestors, it's ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
We are from the stars. My eyes, them, find all them in the stars.
As above, so below. The heavens and the earth. As above in the heavens, as above on the earth. As below on the earth. That is what that truly means. If everything is together and aligned perfectly in the heavens, in the atmosphere, things should be aligned here on earth. And as we know, they are not. They are not, and so I like to say, for those who don't know certain symbols of Ma'at, when they see her or even see it on the American flag with the bald eagle with the wings spreading out, that's actually, representation of Ma'at. She is an African woman with a white ostrich feather on her head, carrying a scepter in one hand and the ankh in the other. Sometimes her symbol the primeval mound was also used to represent this goddess. The mound upon which the Creator God stood at the beginning of time. And normally she is also showed kneeling on the left knee, and her arms are spread out with wings under them.
That's where you get the traditional or the Western civilization representation of angels from Ma'at. So that's how deep Ma'at is.
Yes.
You cannot have Western religion. You can't have any religion without Ma'at. The angels have wings. Ma'at was the first one to be with wings. So that shows her core, how she is tied into everything. Everything you do, whether you know it or not, always going to stem to her. But our energy must be given up consciously, not subconsciously, because we ain't been winning giving it up like that. We got to give it up to her. Same way we've been giving it up to all the other deities, all the other male deities. We must start giving it back to the rightful place.
Yes. And once again, our ancestors, what they call idolatry, ideology, things like that. We worship idols. This is why they say don't worship the idols. But like I said before, I just want to make that clear that we would never build statues to false people.
We worship people.
Right.
We worship what they stood for.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave them statues for their greatness. The same way Western civilization gives all statues, and you got dollars, you got every piece of money you can pull out your pockets, you got a face on it. So they let you know they don't know what they're talking about. But they do know what they're talking about, because they don't want us to give up the proper energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the energy in this day and age. And that's how we have been losing, and that's how they've been winning. We got to start giving that energy back to back to our, to our spiritual connection, where it's all came from, where it all started from. And everybody ain't going to get it. This ain't for everybody. This is, like it says in the Bible, many are called, only few will hear, and you can lead a mule to the water, but you can't make the mule drink, or however it goes. This is not for everyone. You'll know it's for you when you get them goosebumps, and when you get the giddies about hearing this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. We just want just indulge in Ma'at, and just learn of her culture, which is all culture.
That's right. That's right. No doubt. And also, like I said before about the temples that were built to women, there was a temple. There is still remnants of the temple in Karnak, which unfortunately lies in remnants that was built to the Great Mother, and where she was worshipped and offerings were brought to her. And, after she passed away, she was deified as a goddess, to us all. So she is definitely an ancestor to call upon when doing meditation or libation, to get closer to her and to receive all of our blessings that are to be bestowed upon us, and to give us that power to take back what I feel and know is rightfully ours. And so with that, when you go through the 42 confessions of Ma'at, you find a translation that appeals to your divine spirit. You find that one that really fits you. If you know that you have been doing a certain thing and you want to change it, you find that translation and you chant it to yourself on a daily. And you start off in the morning. This is what our ancestors did. You start off in the early morning by saying, I will not. Basically saying, I will not transgress against a neighbor. I will not speak evil things.
I will not. I will not be angry without reason. That's a good. I will not be angry without reason. But some will say, well, I got plenty reason to be angry. I'm broke.
Right.
No money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm salty. But
or I lost my job, or anything.
There's many things that make us angry, but that's the reason. But we just all have to find that balance.
Right, and we have to find a balance in saying that what we will not do. And at the end of the day, you want to say, I have not. Meaning you have not committed those, what we want to say, certain, I don't want to really call them sins or anything, but you have not committed what you said that you would not do.
But
that's
hard.
balance.
It's balance because it's like I said before, it's hard, and this poverty-stricken white supremacist is just so hard to, like they saying, don't steal. There's some people who broke and gotta steal. So they would set up a society where even if you do want to obey a mayat, I'm gonna set it up so you can't do it all the time. I'm gonna make you broke. I'm gonna make you have to steal sometime. I'm gonna make you have to do this. I'm gonna set up a situation where you may have to kill someone.
Right.
So it's all smoke and mirrors. So once we see past the illusions and delusions of religion, we can bring it on back home.
Yes, yes. And once we do that, this will enhance our connection. This will enhance one's connection to Ma'at and the ancient ones. And when we say the ancient ones, we say that, we speak of the ancestors who live by their high standards. We share this with our children, share this with our family, and we can actually see the transformation that will follow, which in ancient Egyptian they say you can watch the kepra, which kepra means transformation. We watch this grand transformation happen. We watch the royal court be assembled for us, and we will not fail.
And kepra, that's a really nice word. We were probably like, that's some Kabbalah word. That's some Jewish mystic word. No, that's the African word.
Yes.
Kepra, it stems back to the Ka and Ba, and the Kepra, and we must just re-immerse ourselves in our history. And the Ma'at Hour we hope to let you, hope it gets you comfortable with doing that. So that's what the Ma'at Hour is all about on Zara Speaks Radio.
Yes, no doubt. And once again, you can find us here every Saturday at 6 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. No, that's 4 o'clock Pacific. That's 4 o'clock Pacific, sorry. And 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And the network is on dynastynetwork.net. That is the web address. And the email address, info@dynastynetwork.net. And we hope to see you next week, same time. And let Ma'at and the ancestors be your guide. Peace.
And a nation can't rise no higher than this woman. I'll reflect you, but it'll reflect me. You gotta go, boy, darling, you be all right to me. We can survive, but we can't be enemies. Cause we know nobody is right. And don't forget where you came from. You are the same person. Nefertiti, Cleopatra. When you see boys put the world in a rapture when we ride. The biggest crack in your past is so spectacular when you're high. But it ain't nothing compared to the hereafter when we rising up against the odds. And if we can make it together, we'll be on fire. And I guarantee it's like nuclear bombs. Can't you see our time has come? Rising up against the odds. And if we can make it together, we'll be on fire. I guarantee it's like nuclear bombs. And can't you see our time has come? We gon' talk it out, talk it out. Say we need to talk it out. We gon' talk it out.
Dynasty Radio, 1382.